One of the most important skills when working with a pendulum is mastering the art of asking clear, precise questions. The accuracy of your answers depends not just on your connection with the pendulum, but also on how well you frame your inquiry. A vague question leads to vague answers. A precise question leads to clarity. Let us share with you a real-life experience that taught us a valuable lesson about the importance of asking the right questions. Our story. A lesson in questioning. Years ago, we applied for a job that we were very interested in. Being experienced pendulum users, we decided to ask our pendulum about the outcome. We held our pendulum and asked, "Will we get this job?" The pendulum swung in a clear yes. Encouraged by this, we asked, "Will we do well in this job?" Again, the pendulum confirmed with another yes. Confident in our answers, we walked into the interview with high hopes. To our surprise, we were turned down for the job. This left us confused and questioning our trust in the pendulum. How could it have been so wrong, we had asked, and it had given us a clear answer. Fast forward 3 years later. We applied for a job again, and as we arrived for the interview, we suddenly realized it was the same job, the same company, the same role, just a few years later. This time, we were successful, and we stayed in the job for several years, performing well and thriving in the role. It was only then that we truly understood the lesson our pendulum had been trying to teach us. The first time we asked, "Will we get this job?" We never specified when. Our pendulum had indeed been correct, but it answered the question as it was asked. We would get the job, just not at that moment. The pendulum is an amazing tool, but it doesn't work in absolutes unless you give it precise parameters to work with. This experience taught us a vital lesson. Clarity in questioning is everything. The importance of clarity in questioning. A pendulum works within the energy you provide it. It doesn't interpret meaning the way a human mind does. It simply responds to the structure of the question. To ensure accuracy, you need to eliminate vagueness and refine your questioning techniques. Here are some key principles to keep in mind. Be specific with your timeline. Instead of asking, "Will I get the job?" ask, "Will I be offered this job within the next 3 months?" Instead of, "Will I move to a new home?" ask, "Will I move to a new home before the end of this year?" Ask one question at a time. Avoid asking compound questions like, "Will I get this job and be happy in it?" Your pendulum may not be able to provide a clear answer to both parts at once. Use clear, unambiguous language. Avoid general questions like, "Will I be successful?" Instead, define success. Do you mean financial success, career success, personal fulfillment? Ask about the present. Before the future, before asking, "Will I succeed in this project?" First ask, "Is this project aligned with my highest good?" Before asking, "Should I take this opportunity?" First ask, "Do I have all the necessary information to make this decision?" Your questions for consistency. If your pendulum gives uncertain or conflicting answers, rephrase your question and try again. The clarity of your question directly affects the clarity of your response. Practice exercise, refining your pendulum questions. To help you sharpen your questioning skills, try this simple exercise. Write down a broad question you would typically ask. For example, "Will I find love?" Refine it into a more specific version. For example, "Will I meet a compatible romantic partner within the next 6 months?" Test both questions with your pendulum. See how it responds and compare the clarity of the answers. Over time, you'll develop a more intuitive sense of how to ask the right questions and receive the most accurate guidance. Final thoughts. Our journey taught us a profound lesson. The pendulum is never wrong, but our questions sometimes are. By learning to ask the right questions, you'll unlock the full power of your pendulum and gain clear, precise guidance on your spiritual path. Take your time, refine your skills, and trust the process. Happy dowsing!